Welcome back to Man Now Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, Gilbert Arenas is the topic of discussion. He went on Podcast P's podcast, which is Paul George. He went on this podcast and they had a conversation about a whole lot of things. But this particular episode is going to be the conversation that had surrounding Michael Jordan in the GOAT debate. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James was kind of thrown in there a little bit. So we're going to get into all of that stuff, man. Before I get started, make sure you hit the like button. A lot of y'all are watching the episodes and y'all leaving comments, and some of y'all are sharing, which is good, but some of y'all are forgetting to hit the like button. So make sure as soon as you click on this, you go ahead and just hit that like button. Don't forget to do that first and foremost. And then we definitely want y'all to leave comments, man, because the comments that y'all been leaving, has been sparking a lot of good conversation, a lot of debate. The comments is crazy. I try to read all of them, right? The comments are good. So I appreciate all that, man. Some of y'all comments make me think, and I probably have went back and forth with some of y'all on some topics, man. So I like the Discord, man. So it's pretty good. So make sure you leave the comments as well. Make sure you hit that share button as well. If you're watching this from Facebook, head over to YouTube and subscribe to us while also hitting that thumbs up. Before I get started, this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code Man Down Sports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. All right, so what did Gilbert Arenas say? He went on Podcast P, and they was having a conversation, and he basically came out and said kind of the same thing he said when he was on Shannon Sharp's podcast. Remember, I did an episode a couple of weeks ago when him and Shannon Sharp was like MJ's his achievements and his resume, and what he did for NBA basketball, what he did for basketball in general, and him as a player was pretty much perfection, as close as perfection as we can get. How can you beat perfection? So here he is saying kind of the same thing, but in a different way. All right, listen up.
All right, because obviously the greats, MJ 6, Kobe finished with 5. At this point, Brian didn't have any. He makes the move. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, I'm in that conversation. Now you look at KD. KD leaves. Mm-hmm. Let me get in that conversation. Let me start knocking at that door. Like, you think that's what kind of where players got the idea of like, shit, if rings is what matters, yeah, I need to go.
No, that's what started everybody leaving. But it's a door. It's a fake door, because those guys ain't in the door. They're in a whole nother door, right? Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, oh, this is the GOAT door, right? Like, okay, I want some rings, and you realize, hey, Michael Jordan ain't in here, y'all. he ain't in this door, y'all. He's somewhere else.
He's not gonna come back young.
He ain't in this door, right? And it's just one of those things where what we're as players, we're factoring in our numbers, right? Our rings, and saying, no, that we should be able, I have leading title. I beat him in every stat. Why y'all not putting me in front of him? Mm-hmm. And the answer is he was the NBA, right? Magic and Bird held it, right? They held it. They made it exciting. Back when it started, it was tape delayed, half them dudes was sniffed up, right?
Right.
It was hide in the mug back in the 80s, right? Even when you talk about the Jordan team, he's talking, hey, when I walked in, they was all doing
cocaine.
Yeah, so when Bird and Magic was, battling, and when Jordan came in, what they seen was a whole different animal, right? You're seeing something that is different, moves different, talks different, approaches the game different, swag, phenomenal, right? This is the best thing we've seen.
It's the best.
Right? I don't give a fuck what he does. This is the best player we've ever seen, right? That it was the eye test. right? 88, 87, 88, like he literally went from the wings, they took the wings off. He got the logo.
Yeah.
They gave him a logo in 88. People don't realize that he got the logo in 88, right? They took the wings off and say, you got Jordan, right? So that whole campaign, and that is considered the greatest individual year anybody could have had. That's when he became the best player ever.
Mm-hmm.
There was no ring. There was no, rings is just what they get to use now. 6, it was just the way he did it. He carried what we have now, solo mission.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to beat solo mission with stats. LeBron can win 6 rings right now,
but he won solo.
They're not giving it to him.
Yeah.
Right? You're not giving a dude who started this joint.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
it's tough to do.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Like, so basically everybody just fighting for second.
Yeah. That's an interesting take.
See, that's a good way he described it. I like the what he said at the beginning when he said, well, first and foremost, Paul George said, Kobe having 5 rings and Michael Jordan having 6 rings is kind of what made people that was the face of the league, like KD and LeBron, that made them think that they had to get 5 or 6 rings to be mentioned in the same breath with Michael Jordan or Kobe. So they felt like, man, I got to get 5 rings, 6 rings at least so I can get in that conversation. But they didn't care any about the road to get those 5 or 6 rings. They didn't care about how it looked. They didn't care about how they did it. They didn't care about how cheap it was. They didn't care about how what type of shortcut they took. They just wanted to get to 6, right? And so what Paul George is talking about is when they realized that they had already been in 5, 6, 7 years and ain't got a ring yet. Like in LeBron's case, man, I've been in 7 years, I ain't got a ring yet. He panicked and was like, well, shoot, I think Jordan got his first ring at 7 years. I'm panicking. I'm creeping up on that time. I need to help him get a ring. So he was like, let me leave Cleveland. Let me let me put together a super team in Miami just so I can at least get that monkey off my back and get rings. Now that I got 2 rings, all right, talk about me in the same discussion with Kobe and Mike. I got 2 rings now. I'm in a ring club. And what Gilbert was saying is not so fast, because what you think got Mike in the conversation to be the best of all time, the greatest of all time, the GOAT, is the rings. That's not what got him in the conversation. That's not why he's the greatest. He's the greatest because he made himself the greatest player we ever seen. And he described all of those things. Like Magic and Bird was one thing, but when Mike came along, everybody was like, shoot, we ain't never seen nothing like this. This is the best. And still to this day, everybody that comes in the league that showcases their skill at a high level, Steph, LeBron, KD, Wembanyama, all great players, but we're still saying we ain't never seen nothing like Mike, except for Kobe. So Mike went and polished his game so much that it was the best we ever seen, the most polished, the most complete, the most fit, the most ferocious on both ends of the floor, relentless score, versatile score, unstoppable score, all of those things, skilled score, all of those things. He turned himself into a complete player on both ends of the floor, and we haven't seen it done until we seen Kobe. So that's why those 2 guys are not in the same door that LeBron and KD walked through. LeBron, KD, and Steph walked through once they got their rings, their multiple rings. They walked in that door and he was like, oh, Jordan ain't in here. They looked in and was like, oh, shoot, it's just us in here. We might be in here with Wilt and some people, maybe, but Kobe ain't here, Kareem ain't here, Mike ain't here. What door they in? It's another door. Kobe and Mike made themselves complete players, the best players we've seen in this league. That's the difference. LeBron James skipped that part. Yes, he made himself better every year in certain things, but he didn't fill every hole that he had in his game individually. His way, really what's supposed to have happened if LeBron didn't take that shortcut and go to Miami, what was supposed to happen and what made it easier to see who the best was when people stayed with their teams and did the best that they could and just got better every year and grinded it out, and and whatever happens, which is what happened with the Jazz with Stockton and Malone. Hey, look, man, this is what we got. We like playing this way. We like playing with each other. We like the organization. We go stick it out. We go try to every year come back and beat this dude. Every year we go come back and beat this dude. Same thing with David Robinson, right? Same thing with Hakeem to a certain extent until his career was kind of over, and he had that one year with Toronto, right? So you had players that was like, look, man, this is who I got. This is my organization. This is my co-stars. We go try to get it done, and we go try to beat whoever we go beat, right? If LeBron would have done that, it would have been easier to see, shoot, he ain't as good as Kobe. It would have been easy to see because we would have seen that Kobe got 5 rings doing it MJ's way, and LeBron created a new way, a new shortcut, which he was able to get his rings that way. And it kind of confused everybody because now we see his 4 rings and we see Kobe's 5 rings, and we make it seem like they're equal. But leaving your squad and team hopping and saying, I'm gonna go to this team, form a super team, use all the salary cap up when we ain't got no more money to get new players and D-Wade's knees are bad, I'm going to jump ship to another. I'm a lily pad to another team and do the same thing. Got a new co-star there, run that salary cap up, overstay my welcome, run my co-star out of to Boston, and then guess what? I'm gonna leave again and lily pad over to LA, and then force another co-star to force a trade, bring him over here, and I'm doing the same thing here, right? If you team hop and lily pad from lily pad to lily pad, jump from lily pad to lily pad, yeah, you can grab little rings here and there, and then you got a bubble that exists that wasn't even supposed to really happen. You forced that to happen. The NBA wanted it to happen, and LeBron was like, hey, look, we going, because he knew he had the best opportunity to get a ring. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can get everybody to show up, get that ring, get that 4th one, right? So, and you see how hard it is for him in LA to get a ring that's conventional, right? So just that bubble ring shows you, everybody say, man, it's the hardest ring in the world. Well, if the bubble ring was so hard, well, it shouldn't be so hard for him to get one now, because outside of the bubble in LA, he got 2 missed playoffs. He's got first round exit, and he got to the conference finals last year. It's not so easy. Can't get back to the finals. It's not easy at all, right? So I say all that to say this. So Gilbert said the door was a fake door. You got in there, MJ wasn't in there. So you went about it the wrong way. You thought that stats was going to help you catch MJ. Kobe Bryant was smart, and he knew I have to be as good as MJ as a player. So I'm going to concentrate on that. I'm going to concentrate. The rings go come. I'm not trying to figure out how I can manipulate free agents or manipulate players to join me and trade people away mid-season. I'm not doing all of that maneuvering to try to figure out how can I make my path easy to the finals. He was concentrating on how he can stack his teams. Kobe was concentrating on how can I make myself a complete player. Right, that's the mindset. This is someone that think like Jordan or think like Bruce Lee or something like that. How can I make myself the best player possible? And then when I get on the floor, I'm going to murder whoever y'all. Well, I ain't gonna say that word. I'm going to destroy whoever y'all put in front of me, and I'm gonna show y'all I can win without Shaq. Like, that was his mindset. Instead of LeBron saying I want to play with all these great players, Kobe said, take the great player away from me, because I don't want y'all to tell everybody I needed Shaq to win a ring. Take Shaq away, and I'm gonna show you I can win a ring without him, which he did. 2 rings, right? Shaq only got 1 without him, right? So he showed you, yeah, I can get a ring without him, and he went to 3 finals without Shaq. Shaq only went to 1. Right. So maybe he went to 2 because when he jumped on Boston at the end, I think no, they didn't make it to the finals. They didn't make it to the finals. So, but yeah, Kobe went about it a different way. I want to make myself a complete player, and you get a lot of kudos and a lot of points for that in a lot of people's eyes. That's why the players respect Kobe more than they respect current players that play now. Even the current players that play now respect Kobe a whole lot because they know how good he was. The media won't give him his credit for it, but we know how good Kobe is, right? And LeBron did it different. He thought that, if I just get the stats and then I manipulate these teams and ball clubs, I can get an easy path to a ring. And that's why he got so many finals losses, is because, taking those shortcuts, you get there, it becomes obvious you're not ready, right? So he got so many losses, 6 finals losses and stuff like that. So he and Gilbert Arenas is giving him the answer to the test. Look, you can't beat Michael Jordan, who's the current GOAT. You can't beat him with stats, because Michael Jordan didn't get in that position by stats. He got in that position because he was the greatest player we ever seen. I'm gonna leave you with this example, because he talked about how, number 1, he was the greatest player we ever seen. Number 2, he was the first to take the NBA to a stratosphere we never seen it. Right? It was almost like Caesar from the Planet of the Apes. Right? He's the first ape to talk. He stood up to the humans. He liberated all apes. Right? He did all of that. Anybody that comes after Caesar, good luck. Like, how are you gonna be greater than Caesar? The first of everything, the person who took y'all and liberated y'all and gave y'all all of this. I mean, he was the first one to talk. Like, this is like MJ was like the first one to do all of that. He set the blueprint for all of this. You would be wise to follow his blueprint like Kobe did, right? And if you can't follow his blueprint and you got to do it your own way, LeBron, then cool. But you got to understand, it's already been established that what his way is, the way he did it, is the best and greatest way that we've seen. So good luck trying to do it a different way and then have it be even close to equal to what he did. If what he did is meet Nemesis and Detroit and Boston and say, man, these dudes is whooping my butt, and the story goes, okay, well, he went back in the offseason, got stronger, got better, came back, got beat again, went back in the offseason, got stronger, got better, got his co-star stronger, and he kept coming back with the same guys, right? And I know a lot of people want to say, oh man, LA got old, Boston got old, Detroit got old. Yeah, you can say they was old. I mean, Isaiah Thomas and Dumars was 30 and 31. Dennis Rodman was 31 when the Bulls finally beat them. So if 30 and 31 is old, that's cool. I get it. 30 and 31 is old. I get it. But the funny thing about it is that old 31-year-old Dennis Rodman actually three-peated with Jordan 6 years later when he was 37. Or whatever age he was when he came there. I think his last ring he got with Jordan on the back end of the three-peat, maybe he was 38. I don't know. Maybe he was 38 when he got the ring. So he showed up there at 30, 35 or 36. So he showed up at 35, 36. So he was old when he was 31, but all of a sudden when he get to the Bulls, everybody, say he contributed to a super team. But he was old when he was with Detroit at 4 or 5 years earlier. That's real odd. So yeah, you can say Detroit was old, but it's respectable that Jordan said, man, I can't run from these dudes. It's something honorable about coming home from school and telling your mom, I got this black eye from a bully. And then your mom and your dad telling you, look, you go back to school tomorrow and you do X, Y, and Z, and you go and do it, and you come back and say, I did it. I got over him. I got over the bully. right? That's how you supposed to do it, right? Now, going to go get your friends to come back and jump the bully, is that honorable and respectable? I guess maybe. It it depends on the circumstances, but when you compare the two, they're not equal. They're not equally respected, right? Me coming back to beat the bully up one-on-one, fair and square, that's gonna be more respected than me coming back with my friends and we jumping on them. You get the same result. The bully stop messing with you, but so that's the result. So the ring is the result. Yeah, LeBron got 4, Kobe got 5. You get the same result. You get rings, you get multiple rings, but one is more respected. And anybody who don't see it the way, you just gotta be objective, take your feelings out of it and look at it and say, man, it is what it is. Like, running from your team in Cleveland and forming a super team in Miami and getting 2 out of 4 is not as impressive as what MJ and what Kobe did. So for that reason, if I'm comparing them to Caesar, they're definitely a Caesar, right? So Caesar do his thing. He liberate everyone, and he reigns on his throne for years until he retires from his throne. The next leader that come in, what can you do better than Caesar, right? Maybe you take the I don't know. I don't know how getting 4 rings, the way he got the rings, he took the shortcut and still got less than Kobe and Mike. He took a shortcut and got less rings. And it's supposed to be about rings. It's supposed to be about winning. And it's supposed to be about you as a player. How good are you? So everyone admits that Mike and Kobe are better players than LeBron, but everyone is trying to use stats to justify LeBron being ranked above them on an all-time list. And if that would make sense if you played for stats. Like if you came to the game and said, hey, whichever team has the player with the most stats at the end of the game wins. If that was the name of the game, like if the name of the game was add up all your stats and whichever team got the player with the most stats, you win, then if that was the name of the game, Luka would have won against Boston tonight. If that was the name of the game, yeah, Boston would have been in trouble because Luka had a triple-double, a 33-point triple-double with 18 rebounds and 13 assists. So if the name of the game was, hey, man, if your best player gets the better stats, the most stats, not even better, the most stats, whoever get the most stats, the team wins. Then I would understand why you would use stats to say someone is better. But Mike and Kobe wasn't playing for stats. They was playing to win. And to win, you have to score points and you have to stop your team from scoring points. You have to score more than your team. Not record stats. I just have to score. Scoring is the most important thing. The second most important thing is stopping the opposing team from scoring. So a player who is really concentrating on winning would concentrate on those two things more than anything, scoring and defending. And that's what Michael Jordan and Kobe was amazing at, scoring and defending. They put their eggs in the right basket. LeBron put his egg, and they put their eggs in the scoring, defending, and winning basket. And LeBron put his eggs in the stats, and the GOAT basket because he wanted to be the GOAT. That's what he said. He wanted to be the GOAT. He put his eggs in the stat basket. And he thought that, hey man, if I get these stats and just make it an easy path to the finals by accumulating all this talent to play with me, then so I can fool a lot of people, and which he did. He did fool a lot of people, but I don't know, man. That's my thoughts on it, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. I appreciate y'all for sticking it out with me to the end. Make sure you like and subscribe and share. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this whole situation with Gilbert Arenas and how he talked about that door that they finally got in with multiple rings, but realized Michael Jordan wasn't in that door. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode.